introduce yourself to us?
Well, I'm Alan Simmonds. I was born and raised at Fort Collins, and my dad and I had horsed and hiked every trail on the east side of the park, and by the time I was 18 years old. Anyhow, I lived down on the north shore of Lake Granby. I have been here on the west side of the national park since 1965.
As a ranger?
As a ranger. I started as a seasonal ranger on the east side of the park in 1960 after I got out of the Navy. And so I had a couple summers seasonal on the east side of the park. It was at Wild Basin and at Bear Lake. And then I got my first permanent appointment at Mount Rainier National Park up in Washington State, and was there a little over 3 years. Transferred back here then in 1965, and I've been here ever since. I'm one of what some of the Park Service people, it's kind of, in a way, it's a sort of a derogatory term, but I became a homesteader, is what the term is. I felt I was a good ranger and was giving the taxpayers a good shake for their money, and so I chose to stay at the field level rather than I actually turned down several promotion offers through the years so that I could stay here and stay at the field level.
If I was planning a trip to the park with my family, let's say, where would you suggest that I be sure to go and things that we should be sure to do?
Well, first of all, I would have to ask you some questions. Because you get people that, just driving through the park is a wilderness. It's not, the road itself is not wilderness, but it's a wilderness experience for some people just to drive through the park. And so, I would want to know what level, do you want to actually do some hiking, or do you want to attend some of the naturalist ranger walks and talks, to find out a little bit about what you would be interested in. There are, well, I just thought of something. It's an Indian legend, and I used to recommend people to try to look for it. Do you want me to tell you about that? Okay. I get sidetracked back and forth on things. Anyhow, there is a rock formation up, it's, let's see, two-tenths of a mile above oh shoot, have these senior moments. Farview Curve. It's 2/10 of a mile on up above Farview Curve. And what it is actually there's a profile, a sharp profile of an Indian. I mean, and
in a rock formation.
It's a rock formation. It looks as good from one side, almost as good from one side as it does from the other, because that's sort of unusual with these profiles. We call it Indian Head Rock, but there's more to it than just the profile, which is down. The profile itself is down just a little bit below the level with the road up there, but you've got some rock sticking up that it's easy to imagine that those would be feathers on the head. And then also, and that is a little bit above the road surface, and then there's a bighorn sheep lamb on his shoulder, and it's easy to pick that out. It actually it doesn't take a lot of imagination to think of this as a bighorn sheep lamb. And the legend goes that, and I believe it was an Arapaho legend. It might have been a Ute, but I actually think it was an Arapaho legend. But anyhow, there was a group of coming that of that tribe had come over and it was camped close in that area, and it had been a very hard winter. There was still quite a bit of this would have taken place probably in early June or maybe mid-June, but anyhow, there was still, you know, a fair amount of snow. It had also been a very wet, cold, miserable springtime, and this group of I think were Arapaho were camped in that general area. Now it was traditional to them for them to do similar to what our military does, and post during the night to post a lookout so that the rest of them can get some sleep. And this particular young fella was posted to be the night watch, and of course not allowed to go to sleep if you got that job, or to desert your post. Anyhow, he had been awake all night, okay, but it was getting light in the morning, and he looked across the valley over there on the flank of Mount Ida, and he saw a bighorn ewe who had just dropped a brand new bighorn sheep lamb. And the group was very hungry and so on. Things were really tough for him. So he did leave his post, went down through the valley, went up and managed to catch the lamb. The Great Spirit was observing all this, and as punishment for deserting his post, the Great Spirit turned him to stone and perched the lamb on his shoulder for all the world to see if they know where to look.
Are there any other Indian legends or Indian landmarks that?
Well, there is a legend involving the aspen tree. Now, just as an explanation of why, you notice the aspen tree trembles and flutters like this. Well, there is a scientific reason for that that distinguishes them to do that from most of the other broadleaf trees. With most broadleaf trees, the leaf blade and the leaf stalk is in direct same plane, is in the same plane. But on the aspen tree, the leaf stalk is at 90 degrees, and that gives it where the stalk and the leaf blade join, that allows them to twist and turn like this. Well, the Indian legend involving this was that up until this incident took place, the aspen tree did not tremble and shake like it does now. Anyhow, the Great Spirit was passing through this area on a kind of a inspection, you might say. And the rule was that all creatures, all living things, including plants and animals and so on, were not to look directly upon the Great Spirit. They were to divert their eyes away as he passed. And he was passing through this area here, and he just sensed that something or somebody or some critter or plant or something was taking a peek at him, was looking at him. And he looked around and discovered it was the aspen tree that was peeking at him. And so as punishment, he said, henceforth, whenever man looks upon you, you will tremble and shake in fear.